Mike. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Jen. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that we're sitting here together because I have a burning question for you. Are you
Oh,
ready for this?
it's a hot question.
It's a hot question.
Yes,
So,
please.
you've been doing landscape for, my goodness, I know it's well over 10 years, going on 15 years. The vast majority of that, though, was using gas equipment. Ooh, loud and stinky. So, talk to me about why people should be going electric.
All right. There's many reasons, not just the obvious ones, because at first, I thought that's the craziest thing. Well, I think of a lot of crazy things, but the craziest thing that I could think of. But I had this electric weed trimmer back during COVID, and it was freaking awesome to be able to just push the button and it works. Let go of it, it stopped. I got it from Harbor Freight. I think it's called an
Ah,
Atlas.
yes.
It was awesome. But, I just brought a little inverter in the truck with us. And anytime someone, their string, it'd take them time, to reload the string or they couldn't get the weed eater started.
Mhm.
Then they could just grab this, push a button. It worked. Awesome. But once the batteries were dead, that was it. But again, that was kind of like a spare trimmer. Then the push mower came along and, they had the electric push mower from Atlas again.
Mhm.
And it was awesome. I did buy an Ego, or not an Ego, I'm sorry, a Ryobi,
Ah.
and it was god awful. Big difference. Big difference.
Sorry, Ryobi.
Yeah. Sorry, didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but your product sucked. Um, no, I mean, you use them for drills and things like that, but usually people call them annual tools or seasonal tools because they'll only last a season, and
Mhm.
then you got to go buy another one. That's why they're so cheap.
Ugh, like it's got to get expensive.
Yeah, and the batteries don't last long.
Mm.
But the Alice ones, they were 40 volt, and then later they switched to an 80 volt. And I mean, again, it was awesome. But again, how do I get the batteries charged?
Ah.
But I had a boat that I had converted to solar electric for I put 4 trolling motors on the back of it. It was a big bass boat. And I was able to use that with all 4 trolling motors with little switches to where I could go into turbo and have all 4 of them going. Had a steering system. It was awesome. Story for another day. But that made me realize that, okay, you use a solar to charge batteries, that
Mhm.
batteries run the equipment. So I kind of use that same logic into, hey, I can charge these chargers or charge batteries like deep cycle batteries. I can keep them charged and then be able to run an inverter off of them and keep this weed trimmer and push mower running longer and be able
Hmm.
to do more jobs with these, because these I didn't have to worry about mixing any oil and
Yeah.
gas.
Yeah.
Just push a
Human
button.
error, you know.
Yeah, and there was a lot of that during that time, being it was during COVID.
Mhm.
And, we were a necessary business. Not saying that's right or wrong, but I mean, so many people are at home looking at their yards.
Mhm.
The government starts giving out checks then. We had
Mhm.
those stimulus checks.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so they were ready to, spend some money on making things look better. And I just, I had to really get a large crew going, and they were just wearing through machines right and left because, no matter how you tell them or give examples or little cups for mixing the oil with the gas, it wouldn't get done the same way all the time or near it.
Mm.
And then they wonder why it won't start and why they keep pulling these pull strings, and then it breaks the coil. And I became a mechanic,
Mm.
not by choice, but I had to. And at the same time, we were also building decks and things too.
Wow.
And so, I mean, it was just crazy busy, but a lot of stress. And
Mhm.
so I'd be like, take the electric machines. And then I'm realizing, wait a second, the more they're using this electric, and when
Mhm.
the electric stuff broke, there was always warranty. Take it to Harbor Freight, switch it right out. And I was like, man, if they ever come out with a zero turn, the big mowers, I'm
Yeah.
going to get it. I'll figure out a way to keep it charged. And lo and behold, a little while later, they did. I got it. And then I really mastered the system of how you can use solar to power, get large, lithium deep cycle batteries with a Life Pro um, batteries that, like
Mhm.
200 amp hours or so, and have them running either parallel or in series, matters what kind of configuration you got. And then solar panels, on top of the trailer. Of course, this was a gradual growth of just figuring things out.
Mhm.
But then all of a sudden I was seeing more and more that this is really working.
Mm-hmm.
and the equipment was getting better,
Mm-hmm.
and an Ego had come along. And once I started using Ego, that was, with the first zero turn.
It was a wrap, huh?
Yeah, I was blown away.
We do love our Ego.
I was blown away. Because, I used only, Ferris was probably the lowest line of any of the stuff that we had, because everything was Exmark and steel.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of Echo things here and there, but mainly, I had the laser, I had, all the big Exmarks. And still I was running, like one crew that would be electric, the rest would be gas. But the one electric was outdoing anyone gas. Only problem is they had to be able to keep the battery charge up.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, at the time, we were being a little bit silly of having to run out, swap out batteries, take some back to charge, even though we had, inverter and stuff going. This was all in a process of making
Mm-hmm.
it. And now, for the last, 2 years, I guess, we've had it completely perfected to where we have 3 zero turns, 3 large push mowers, of course, tons of trimmers, edgers.
Yeah, I've
everything.
registered them. So
yeah, so everything.
Yes.
To where we can do, the same 10 to 15, lawns, depending on size. You can do 20, 30 if they're the little bitty cookie cutters.
Mm-hmm.
But, of course, being around here and working off reputation,
Mm-hmm.
we're
That's
not
huge.
just going off the little bitty properties. But you could go out there and do, just as many as you can do with gas, you can do with electric,
Mm-hmm.
and people don't get it. And that kind of goes into your next question.
Yes, for another time though, because
Yeah.
I want it to be bite-sized segments here. So we want to give, some information, but we do want people to tune back in. So,
Well, then I can sum it up then, your question,
all
real quick.
right. Okay.
The reasons were, one, of course, cost.
Okay.
Saving money, tons of money.
Oh yeah, not paying for gas, not paying for repairs, and not paying for mechanics.
Bingo.
You not losing out on revenue from being mechanic. Absolutely.
Bingo.
Absolutely.
And not stink. Well, okay. Yeah, the guys still stink. Yes, I can still stink after working, but not stinking like fumes.
Like gas, yeah.
You want to go eat lunch, want to go get a burger. You go to
Mhm.
bite your burger, like, oh, wow.
I smell like gas.
I probably should have washed my hands better.
Yeah.
And but then also the noise.
Mm-hmm.
And also, the cleanliness when you get done, by the end of the day, you don't come back just stinking of gas. Quick shower, whatever. But the noise was a huge factor, being I'm already got, some deafness of one ear from way back in the day. But I was also, in sound business, as before this. And I know about, decibel levels and what they can do to your hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And when we've tested these gas blowers versus the electric blowers, you got a 20 to 30 decibel difference.
Mm-hmm.
And the gas are, way beyond deafening. And that can cause, long-term deafening. I'm not saying instantly you turn one on and you go deaf. I'm not lying. You can fact check, right? I'm not saying that. But, you're looking at 60 decibels or so versus 80, 90, could be 100. And the people that are working from home, school from home, and a lot of that we saw through COVID, my daughter being one of them too, it was just life-changing for them. And people come to us almost in tears sometimes. It's just like, this is amazing. Thank you. So it gives us a whole different look as a landscaping business too. We're more personable. You can walk up and all we have to do is let go of a trigger. And, yes, how can we help you? Not, oh, let me shut down my machine. And then they feel like they're inconveniencing you. It's such a big difference.
Puts the customer first.
Yep.
And I like that. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So that's why I did it in a short, summed up version.
Awesome. And we'll touch base on some other points that you've brought up to kind of provide some more clarification. But we are trying to keep it bite-sized.
And we do kind of have a book out there too.
Yeah, that's
that people
true.
can read.
Absolutely. Available on Amazon. We'll make sure to put a link where everybody can find it. And of course, we'll be coming out with some expanded versions, making sure that we have things such as diagrams and step-by-step guides and things of that nature, because we do want to provide more education and awareness. And I think that's really important too. So, Mike, thank you for your time today.
No problem.
It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to talking to you again.
You got it. Thanks.